I killed my dad. It was a hot summer day. I found my 8-year-old son standing in a park near my house. Moreover, even though it was a very hot day, he looked pale in the face, shaking and frightened. Did this child really harm his father? Anyway, as I was calming my son, he started saying even more ridiculous things. When I heard everything, I hugged my son and wept. It's not your fault, leave the rest to mommy, don't worry. I will never forget the worst scene I saw after this. My name is Amand, and I'm a 36-year-old housewife who works both while raising children. I met my husband Nathan as a colleague at a major company where I still work, and after 2 years of dating, I got married. Soon I found out I was pregnant, after which I gave birth to my son, Jasper. Jasper is already 8 years old. He loves dinosaurs and goes to elementary school energetically. After that, my husband was transferred to a nearby branch office, but I was still working as a section manager at the head office, and 1 year ago, I was able to build my long-awaited home. A state-of-the-art kitchen, a theater room in the basement, a large children's room. It is a home full of commitment. Everyone in the family loved their new home, and we had a smooth ride. However, about half a year after building the house, my husband's appearance began to become strange. On weekdays, I said I was working overtime, and I came home late, and I often went out for work on holidays. Even when he is at home, he is constantly fiddling with his phone and does not pay attention to his family. For example, there was a time like this. It was the day that we had an appointment to go to a dinosaur exhibition at a museum that Jasper wanted to go to for the weekend. I went to wake up my husband, who didn't get up easily when the departure time approached. Hey! It's time to wake up. What's going on? You're going out with Jasper today. He is looking forward to it. I can't go to the dinosaur exhibition today because I have to work. I was surprised and rebuked my husband, saying, "We promised you a long time ago," and he sat up with a sullen expression. You know, I'm the one who took out the mortgage for this house. I'm working hard not only to pay it off quickly but also to support our family's livelihood, you know? Indeed, the mortgage on the house was taken out in the sole name of my husband. However, it was because he insisted on his own name, and because he wanted to build a theater room in the basement and a study for him, it became expensive. Of course, I'm also helping with the repayments, and to add, given my position, I contribute more money to the household. I was irritated by my husband's argument, but I kept silent because I thought that bringing it up would make his proud mood worse. I'm sorry, Jasper. Dad can't go today. Let's go with Mommy. Oh my gosh. But it would be nice if I could go to the dinosaur exhibition with my mom. So I and Jasper decided to go out that day, but the same thing continued several times after that, and my patience was nearing its limit. So, I decided to talk to my husband about it properly. Hey, I know you're busy with work, but you've been neglecting your family too much lately. I'm not playing around, you know. It can't be helped. Right now, I want to prioritize Jasper over work. It's almost summer vacation, and I want to go out with my family and make memories. You know. I'm saying I'm working for the mortgage and our livelihood. I was disgusted by my husband's stubborn attitude. Then you don't have to rush, we have enough income, and I'm working. Then, my husband's complexion changed quickly. Oh. What? Are you the one who earns more as a section manager at the head office? I hurriedly replied, that's not what I meant, but my husband seemed to have blood on his head. That's why I find you so unlikable. Forget it, stop bothering me. He said so and locked himself in the theater room in the basement. At first, it was a room used by the family, but by this time it had become like a secret base for my husband, and once I entered, it was difficult to get out. I sighed and went back to my chores. Eventually, the seasons changed, the harsh summer came, and Jasper went on summer vacation, but my husband and I had work as usual. My son is already 8 years old, and I always do that because I can stay home as long as I prepare lunch. Then mommy is going to work, lock the front door and do your homework. Got it. See you later, Mom. I called out to Jasper and went to work as usual. However, at about 3 p.m., there was a localized severe thunderstorm in the direction of the house, and I was worried that Jasper might not be scared. I haven't let my son have a cell phone yet, so I can't contact him. In the end, I finished work a little early and took the train home. It took me about an hour to get home from work, and I arrived at the station around 5 p.m. The rain had already stopped, and the sun was glaring, and I even felt like I was being baked in a frying pan. Come to think of it, did the weather forecast say that today will be the hottest day of the summer? With that in mind, I was rushing from the station to my house when I saw Jasper standing in a park near my house. I hurriedly approached my son. Jasper, why are you outside when it's so hot? My son looked up, but his face was pale. Moreover, he was trembling in the heat. Hey! What's going on? Are you sick? Mom! I killed my daddy. What? Jasper is drenched in sweat and still upset. I knelt on the spot and managed to calm my son down and ask him what was going on. Jasper was at home in the morning doing his homework, but suddenly his husband came home. Then I was kicked out of the library to study. Did you suddenly say that? Yes, I was told not to come back until the evening, but I forgot something at home. He arrived at the library once, but then rushed home. Then, there was a woman's skirt and underwear that had been taken off on the stairs leading to the theater room in the basement. As soon as I heard that, I felt a rush of blood to my head, and the word cheating flashed through my mind. Jasper, did you see anything there? Well, I heard Daddy's voice and a woman's scream from inside the room. And I got scared. Thinking that something bad was happening inside, his son immediately put a stick on the door of the theater room to prevent it from opening completely. Jasper then ran out of the house and went to the library again. However, a thunderstorm came on the way, and as he watched it, he began to feel anxious. Did I do something wrong? And Jasper was worried about the state of the house and went home again after the rain stopped. For some reason, the lights in the basement were out, so he went in with a flashlight, but it was very hot and humid in the basement and there was no noise from inside the theater room. when he called out, "Daddy." There was no answer, and Jasper panicked and ran out of the house again, alone in the park, at a loss. At this point, Jasper began to shed a large tear. What should I do? It was so hot, and Daddy could have died. Who is that woman? I wonder if I'm going to get caught. I hugged my son, who was still trembling. In this heat, poor Jasper was unreasonably kicked out and confused when he was shown his father's affair scene, even though he could not understand the meaning. I felt sorry for my innocent son when he thought of the immeasurable horror he experienced. In this unbelievable situation, tears started flowing from my eyes as well, and before I knew it, I was sobbing along with Jasper. However, after crying for a while, I felt that I had to protect this child. And I wiped away my tears because I had to see the end of my husband's affair with my own eyes. Jasper isn't bad, leave it to Mommy, don't worry. But it's okay, we're going to go to Grandma's house. I stood up, called a taxi, and headed to my parents' house in the next town. I entrusted Jasper to my mother, saying, "I want you to take care of him until tomorrow," and went home. By the time I got home, it was already night. When you open the front door, the hot air comes rushing in. When I checked, the breaker in the basement had tripped, probably due to the influence of lightning during the day. As Jasper said, the stairs leading to the basement are littered with discarded clothes. It's not just my husband that I recognize. Even women's flashy underwear. I ignored it and stood in front of the theater room. I managed to slip the stick that was stuck tightly in the door of the theater room, and when I opened the door, the scene was just as I had imagined. In the unbearable heat, there lay my husband and an unknown woman, both completely naked, lying on their backs. When I poked my husband, he made a pitiful growl, and the woman seemed to be alive as well. I immediately took a picture of the scene and called an ambulance. 10 minutes later, I was calm as I watched the paramedics rush to treat the stretcher into the house. On top of that, a boiling anger began to simmer within me. Not only cheating, but bringing her into our home and traumatizing Jasper. How despicable. I'll never forgive this. Never. I took out my mobile phone and called a certain place. Next day, I was sitting in a chair next to the bed in the hospital room when my husband woke up. Where is this place? What happened to me? When I asked, "How much do you remember?" my husband's expression shifted as if he was trying to recall something, then he suddenly seemed startled. Hold on, just to make things clear. I was showing around an acquaintance our new house, and then there was an accident where the door to the theater room got stuck. I swear, it's true. I deliberately feigned a sympathetic tone. That's right. It was tough. You had a severe heat stroke. You almost lost your life, didn't you? Oh. It was a tough time. Well, for the time being, I'm glad nothing happened. Amanda, take care of me. I smiled and took his hand, holding back my anger at my husband for starting to say such a thing. Yes, of course. Jasper is also worried, so can you show your face? I'm in the lounge, so let's go. You can stand it now, right? My husband said, Oh, yes, and got out of bed while holding on to the floor table and followed me. However, I stopped in front of a private room a short distance from his hospital room. My husband's expression froze when he saw the name tag hanging in the hospital room. "What are you surprised about? It's your cheating partner, Nora Goyle's hospital room." As I said that, I threw the door open and dragged my husband inside. When the cheating partner sitting on the bed looked at me, she turned pale and stiffened. The husband is trying to explain with gestures while standing. A cheating partner. So it's a misunderstanding. I've explained it to me. Then why did you take off your clothes outside the theater room, and you were both already undressed when you were locked in, right? Ugh. My husband and his cheating partner were silent as if they didn't make a sound, and I sighed. I found her employee ID card in the clothes that were taken off, so I contacted my coworker at the branch office and immediately found out about Goyle's identity. Then my husband stiffens up. "It seems your relationship was already a topic of gossip at the branch office. They say you often go out together for work and don't come back for a while. Honestly, you're quite something, aren't you?" Then the cheating partner said, "No, it's different." She shouted, but I pointed at the screen of my phone. What was pictured there was the figure of two people who collapsed in a pitiful appearance as they were born. There's no room for misunderstanding in this situation. What were you doing during working hours? And on top of that, barging into a house with children. Then my husband suddenly apologized to me. "I admit I cheated. Please don't report this to the company. We're both going to get fired." "It's too late. I've already reported it to the company. If both of you are hospitalized, you can't make excuses, right?" The big man in the branch office was very angry. When I said in a cold voice while looking down at my husband and his cheating partner screamed pitifully, "Do you know what's going to happen? If I get fired, I won't be able to pay the mortgage on my house." With a flushed face, I sharply glared at my husband as he launched into his defense. "I don't know anything about the mortgage on my house. I'm getting divorced and moving out with Jasper." "Divorce? I don't want that. Amanda, please forgive me. I can't forgive you for doing something shady in our house even though you kicked my son out in the heat, and I'm going to charge you both for cheating." Oh my gosh. I left my husband, who was stunned, and his cheating partner, who finally started crying aloud, and walked away. After that, my husband and I divorced each other. When I hired a lawyer and requested alimony, $3 million was paid by each of the two people. We have also agreed to pay child support on a monthly basis. My ex-husband and his cheating partner were fired from the company. The cheating partner loses her savings due to the payment of alimony, and she and my ex-husband become like blaming each other and break up. In the end, he returned to the countryside. My ex-husband was unemployed and was teased by alimony, and he couldn't pay the mortgage on his expensive house, so he finally decided to put it up for sale. Still, he said there's debt remaining, and now they're living in a rundown apartment while juggling multiple part-time jobs to pay off the debt and child support. On the other hand, I moved in with Jasper and moved to my parents' house and started a new life. From now on, I would like to look forward to my